Okay, so we're pretty familiar with the basics. The original statement was the quote, "I can run to school in 1 minute." Our first assumption we make is to say he means from his house, because it wouldn't be very impressive if he started 5 meters away. So there's 6 rules. 1. Miles has to be running by definition. He can't be driving, flying, gliding, or anything else like that. 2. We can help him as much as we theoretically can. Give him drugs, make a better path, train him, do anything we can to get him there. 3. He has to be alive. As long as he survives and makes it, it's a success. 4. We're not allowed to use philosophy or semantics to fill the definition of running. There has to be verifiable actus reus in the execution. 5. He has to be his own propellant. Even though this isn't actually in the selected definition of running, the only 2 forces that can propel him are his gait and gravity. And finally, number 6, he can't do anything else while running. This includes operating machinery, entering or exiting kinetic vehicles, and anything else that isn't running or vital functions. Okay. So here's the definition I chose out of the 600 plus definitions of run. It's from the Oxford English Dictionary. To move at a speed faster than a walk, never having both or all the feet on the ground at the same time. This is a good one because it's not too vague and it also differentiates between running and walking. Still, it doesn't take into the account the propellant, but that's outlined in Rule 5. So let's get started. The route to school is 1.6 kilometers long, an approximately 20-minute walk. A normal running speed is 45 kilometers per hour? I don't think so. Okay, let's say the average running speed is 11 kilometers per hour. 1.6 kilometers means he could run it in about 14 minutes. That's not enough. So if Miles found a way to top Bolt and maintain the speed for the entire time, could he do it? No. It would still take him about 3.5 minutes. In order to get there with our normal route, we would have to get Miles to run 96 kilometers per hour on average. That is completely impossible. That's like freeway speed. So let's try something else. What if we cleared a path so that Miles could run in a straight line right to school from his house? Well, that line would measure 1,158 meters in length, 56% shorter than the original route. That's pretty good, right? Problem is, there's some stuff in the way. There are actually only 12 buildings in the way. All we would have to do is demolish them. Only 6 of them are people's houses, 4 of them are garages, and 1 apartment building, as well as 1 industrial warehouse. There's also a train track, a highway, 2 forests, and a drainage canal. Knocking down the buildings would be easy. All you need is an excavator and you're good. The problem arrives at the highway and canal. There is a significant dip in altitude, and we would certainly have to build a bridge. Making a quick, safe one out of cheap timber would be ideal. Once the woods are cleared and the garages bulldozed, the path would be ready. The cost? Around 1,500 for the excavator rental, 100 for the chainsaw. It might actually be cheaper to buy modular bridges rather than build it out of timber, because then you could just put them together. They cost about $1,200 per 10 meters. And then adding up the cost with the fuel, it would be around $17,000. Not too bad. By the way, I'm not counting all the lawsuits we would accumulate. We could also throw in a defense budget in case the police come and try and mess up our plans. But maybe some other time. So let's try it out then. 1,158 meters in 1 minute. Straight line. Easy, right? Well, he would still have to run about 70 kilometers per hour. That's too fast. That's even fast in a car. At this point, there doesn't seem to be any other way. We can't launch him, we can't shoot him out of a cannon. One of our original ideas was to put him on a rail that is set up before the actual distance in order to give him a massive boost. But doing this would probably break Rule 5, and also likely break Rule 3 as well. So what do we do? What could be the answer? Is it really impossible to get Miles to school in 1 minute? It is really quite depressing to think that all hope might be lost, but Brachistochrone is the curve of the fastest descent, from a high point to a low point, using only exterior force like gravity. Light actually follows this curve when traveling through a refractive substance. Vsauce made a video on it, so if you're unfamiliar with the famous Brachistochrone, please do watch it. So, how would we utilize the Brachistochrone? Well, we would build a massive one from Miles's house to the school. Easy as pie. Here's how it would work. The Brachistochrone is smooth, and if Miles tried running on it, he would likely just start falling and die. That breaks rule number 3, so we would have to find some way for Miles to descend safely while still utilizing the optimizing shape of the curve. Using the Brachistochrone would cause Miles' steps to actually slow him down as he descends. He would also be traveling too fast to keep up with his steps and inevitably fall and die. So what do we do? Well, with the Brachistochrone, we can just take 2 steps. Now, get ready for some math. So we know the distance traveled is 1,158 meters. Imagine turning the whole world upside down, and there's a giant circle in the sky, which is below us. The circle is rolling on the sky to the right, but it's also drawing a line as it moves. The line originates from the very bottom, which is in the sky. It is slowly growing as the circle rolls until it hits the very top of the ground. That line is our Brachistochrone. With this, I can calculate the height of the Brachistochrone, as well as the speed at which something would roll down by using our distance traveled to figure out the circumference of the circle as well as the radius. To calculate the height, all we need to do is find the circumference and then grab the radius, which is 368.6 meters. This means the diameter or height of the Brachistochrone would be 737 meters tall, approximately 184 meters taller than the CN Tower, 91 meters shorter than the Burj Khalifa, and 378 times as tall as Ben. That's impressive and all, but what about the speed? The answer we've all been waiting for. Now, I regret to say this, but I am not entirely confident in my answer, because the math gets really hard. But the equation is time is equal to pi times the square root of the radius of the rotating circle divided by the acceleration due to gravity. We already have the radius, which is 368.6 meters, but I don't really know about the acceleration due to gravity thing. Apparently it's really variable depending on the location, but I just went with the one that said when the mass is close to the surface of the Earth, which is 9.8 meters per second squared. So I ran it through the calculator and checked it twice, and it came back with a result that should be in seconds since the denominator was dividing a number with meters as a unit. So what's the answer? How fast would it be? Well, let me clear something up before I give you the sweet answer. Miles will be taking 2 steps, one to push himself onto the Brachistochrone, and one to get him onto the ground. He would be wearing a harness that is connected to a rail. The rail is the Brachistochrone, and to reduce friction, the rail would be filled with magnets or superconductors so that the harness hook can glide down with almost zero friction using magnets. Magnetic forces does not count since they are technically not propelling him forwards. They are only allowing him to rest on top of them. The only 2 forces of propellant are his legs to push him off and gravity. When the descent is over, the track would continue, but a parachute would ignite to slow him down before automatically decoupling from his harness and throwing him onto a net. Well, that's the journey. But is it a success? Is it? How long does it take him? Well, if the math checks out, it should take him 19.25 seconds to get him from his home to school on the Brachistochrone. He would be traveling at an average speed of 216 kilometers per hour. By the way, this does not count the small drag from the magnets or air drag, which would probably be a lot more. So these numbers aren't very accurate, but 19 seconds is pretty overkill in my opinion. We did it. Miles theoretically can run to school in 1 minute. The age-old question has finally been answered.